This is the story of how young girls were abused in one of the country's biggest cities.
The size of the exploitation was massive in Sheffield, and I think bigger than Rotherham.
Hundreds of children have been exploited here in recent years.
It pretty much seemed that he'd got me drugged and did whatever he wanted to in that.
Tonight, we reveal how police knew much of the detail, but rarely acted on it.
And I got a telephone call from the detective sergeant, who basically said, the operation's being shelved.
Sheffield recognised child sexual exploitation was a problem well over a decade ago.
She's wanting this guy to stop having sex with her, and he's not.
This former police officer knew the abuse was taking place. Tony Brooks worked on an investigation that led to 6 men being convicted of sexual offences. A result, but the team knew of more victims and wanted to go on.
We offered to advertise what we can do for the girls on TV. The AC said, "No, wind your necks in. We're not going to do it. We don't want to speak about it anymore." So it's ended, basically.
Tony sent a report to his superiors, urging them to open more investigations. He was ignored. He was also called to an extraordinary meeting with a senior officer.
Yeah, he wanted us to go and spend a couple of hours with each girl and then just tell him, well, there's nothing we can do, really.
So a senior officer came to you and told you to visit these girls and tell them that no police action would be taken?
Yeah.
But evidence of alleged abuse continued to pour into South Yorkshire Police. We've obtained this sensitive internal document: 200 suspected victims, over 300 alleged perpetrators, girls as young as 12 being raped, violent attacks, trafficking, evidence of organised gangs. Do you recognise that name?
This was my boyfriend, and I was 15 and he was 29.
We tracked down one of the girls on the spreadsheet. Police, she says, knew she was being abused.
I had one of those video interviews and everything, and they took my clothes, but I never heard anything back from that. Just can't believe they haven't really done anything, really.
In 2009, the police did start a new investigation, encouraged, we've learned, by a £50,000 payment from the local council. Again, victims and perpetrators were identified. This retired policeman worked on that inquiry, but as before, senior officers didn't pursue it.
I said, how do you mean it's being shelved? It can't be shelved because we've shown there's evidence here that you've got children being trafficked, being sexually abused. Utter disbelief. And to this day, I don't know who made that decision or why that decision was really made.
South Yorkshire Police told us they've secured several convictions in recent years for child sexual exploitation, that a number of inquiries are ongoing and that they are committed to charging people where there is evidence to do so. But we've learned that one former senior officer is now the subject of an investigation by the Independent Police Complaints Commission. Paul Broadbent, a former Assistant Chief Constable, now runs a government body that tackles labour exploitation. He's under scrutiny for how he handled allegations of sexual abuse. He told us it would be wrong to suggest he didn't support such investigations.
If action had been taken sort of at the time and more sort of proactive police operations put in place, then some young people may never have become victims at all, and I think that's the tragedy of it, really.
And many of the young girls ignored and let down by South Yorkshire Police are still living with the consequences. Michael Buchanan, BBC News, Sheffield.